Hey, welcome back to Starship Travel Channel. I'm Jason, and today's episode is Time Traveling with Jason. September 26, 2024 is the time we're going to travel back to, and during this period, we are boondocking and we're checking out Love's gas station, and we are staying overnight with a bunch of truck drivers next to us. It's a very comfortable, clean experience, and then we make it to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we stayed at this resort, Raccoon something something. Sorry, I'll probably put the name down in the description. But they had a cave to check out right there on the camping ground property. So we hope you like the show. It's very dark in there, but they've got lights set up, so kind of you can see pretty clearly. I should have brought like some more light, but I don't know. It's definitely an alien feeling being underground like that. Hope you enjoy the show. Bye. Well, it's day 4 in our adventure, and we are currently in a Love's truck stop. It's really big. This one has a full service for truck rigs, and apparently they have showers and everything good in there. So we've just got tonight to boondock, and then we finally get to our place in Chattanooga for a few days and get to learn all the wonderful stuff with the gray and black tanks and all that fun stuff, and be able to play video games again. Off-grid is it's doable, but it's tough. It really is tough. A few of the key points on boondocking is: 1, water management. Get yourself a huge jug of water and get a pump for it. Because if you are boondocking off-grid and you need water to wash your hands, you need water to flush your toilet if you don't have a reserve of water in your RV. Number 2 would be battery management. I don't know what the deal is, but ever since we left Bowling Green, Ohio, it has been overcast, gray skies all the way through. We got a few little patches of sun yesterday, but today, as we were driving around up in the mountains here, boom, just gray everywhere. So we can't charge any of our batteries until it starts getting sunny out, because I don't want to bust out the 5,000 generator that runs on gas, because that's just expensive. Yep, so we're cooking right now. I'm gonna take a peek around. Let's move this camera a bit. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
What you making?
Chicken, carrots, with a touch of
Hi, Gadget.
sugar-free barbecue
Sugar-free barbecue.
from G. Hughes.
And we
It's really
couldn't
good.
put the steps out there because there's not a lot of room next to the truck drivers that are right next to us. So we are in a truck parking spot. But, oh yeah, we're not going without some good tasting food. So that's some sugar-free barbecue sauce. The label kind of got wrecked, but my dude, your sauce is awesome. That's it for now. I think this battery is about to die on this thing now too. So we got to experience the gas station, the trucker's gas station called Love's, and we took a shower. $17 to take that shower, but it was nice. You get a full bathroom, full sink, shower, everything. They provide a towel and washcloths and like a little hand towel.
And actually, it was $17 a person, but luckily the lady just allowed to charge us for us both for?
It's $17 for the shower. You could probably fit 5 people in there, whatever. I mean, they let whatever. It's just for that room. So keep that in mind if you're traveling with your family and stuff. They even have like a little short shower head too. They had a step into it though, so I don't think that little shower head was for a wheelchair access. Maybe it was. I don't know, but like they would have to climb over the thing. Oh, phone's ringing.
Welcome everybody, my name's Scooter. I'll be your tour guide. There's just some basic rules and information we need to go over before we go into the cave. First, gap where the handrail stops and switches sides. And again, you'll see a sign, please don't touch any of the rock formations. So watch your head, watch your step, follow me, please. And again, I'm going to shine on that under rock right there. Watch your head underneath, handrail to the right. Three Kings. This saber-toothed tiger right here has a column on the bottom of it. That was the column that we saw in the photo. Rhino with the party hat out there. But yeah, Crystal Palace room. So this is what's known as a solutional cave, essentially meaning you have to have a solution, right? Rock and water is essentially the two main elements, but it's not as simple as just mixing rock and water. Most of what you guys are looking at out there is comprised of limestone. Limestone has a lot of calcium in it, okay? When the water made its way to this limestone, it picked up a bunch of carbon dioxide on its travels. That water becomes what's known as carbonic acid. Carbonic acid sounds really gnarly, but if you guys have ever had a sparkling water or a soda, guess what? You drink carbonic acid, right? But carbonic acid likes to eat away at calcium. You can think about like a tooth, right? If I were to put my tooth in carbonic acid over time, it would eat away at that calcium and it would create a large cavity, right? So that's essentially how the cave was initially formed. Once the cavity was created, the formations kind of begin their growth because that carbonic acid starts to extract this mineral known as calcite out of the rocks. So behind me is a massive column right here. And if you guys see this kind of like white stuff on the edge, this is calcite. Now, throughout the tour, we'll see calcite kind of look a couple different ways. It'll have this kind of like snowy, crystal-y look. We can see a bunch of it out there. Or it might look kind of like the icing you put on like a Cinnabon. And there's a stalagmite later on that I'll point out that has a lot of really fresh calcite on.
You got this. I told you we're doing this short tour, not the multi-hour tour where you would need a snack in between.
Very astute observation. All right, so we are on the next location on the map, which is known as Lambert's Overlook. You guys maybe know who's Lambert. Leo Lambert was the guy who first opened this cave in 1931. Leo Lambert is also the same dude that's responsible for Ruby Falls, okay? He had a walking tour very similar to what you guys are on. In fact, you're still on his original path. His original path goes back through here, but I can't let you pass this state-of-the-art technology. The difference is Leo Lambert's tour was about 15 minutes long, and it was just the Crystal Palace room, okay? So when he first opened the cave, he offered those walking tours. He also had weddings, which I'll talk about later on in the tour. But Leo knew there was more available here, and he wanted to kind of explore this cave further. There's some rumors that he may have potentially wanted to connect this cave with other caves in the area. So he started to survey this cave further, and he actually had a very tragic accident, and his left arm was... From my understanding, that never happened.
Oh, really? Oh. I thought that might have been an exciting story. Yeah.
It is, it's just not true. I make up for my lack of scientific expertise and factual knowledge, which is jokes. So we are at the infamous wishing well, and again, I'll remind you kind folks not to throw any coins into it. But if you were on the Smith Brothers tour, you would be able to stop and make a wish and throw your coin in. Well, this got out of hand, okay? So this entire pool is completely full of coins. If you see this rock right here, that blue-green color, you cannot find that in any other section of the cave. Why? Copper from the pennies, right? So they came in decades ago and they pulled all those coins out. They removed all that water out and they replaced it with water from another section of the cave. It was my understanding that the water was so toxic that salamanders had never returned. I was giving a tour a few months back and I was explaining that exact same fact, and we all watched a salamander take a dive into the pool. So now I tell people salamanders just started to come back, but I think that salamander had a death wish because I've never seen a salamander since. So, it's always a variety, you just never know what you're going to find in the cave. But yes, this was completely full of coins. That's why I've been so adamant not to throw any coins back in. But this is the infamous wishing well. Does anybody have any estimates how far underground we are at this point?
30 feet.
30 feet?
50.
50 feet? So generally you guys aren't thinking too deep, right? You're pretty much on point. If I were to blast a hole through that wall, we would be in the parking lot. So we're approximately 15 feet underground right now. And if you think about the path that we've taken, we came in quote unquote ground level. We actually went up 2 sets of stairs. We just came down a set of stairs. So this is known predominantly as a horizontal cave system, meaning like for this tour, we'll kind of do this a little bit, but we're still staying relatively level. If you're in our gift shop or you see some photos of like the taller domes, like the waterfall dome and stuff, it's not because they're necessarily that much further underground than we are at this point, it's because the mountain grows over our cave system. Now, a lot of people assume when you enter into a cave, that means you automatically submerge underground. But that's not always necessarily the case. In a lot of caves, that is very accurate, right? But in this case, yeah, we're pretty much staying level, quote unquote. I'm not sure about the deepest point we'll hit on this tour, but I do think it's maybe 100, 150 feet. He's still there, he's moved up a little bit. So right under my light, oh, I think that's a different dude, but it's slimy nonetheless. Yeah. Well, okay, so I've heard some things about these slimies and their tails. Sometimes I think they can eat them if they need to, and then they can grow them back.
That's great.
Yeah, so right over there is a slimy you guys can check out.
Lion.
And then, yeah, right? Can you guys see the slimy? Yep, right over there.
See him?
Oh, yeah, he's a little guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right. So we are on the next location on the map, which is the iguana head.
Oh, wow.
And so on the iguana head, you are going to see a bunch of cave crickets. And lately they've been hanging out quite a bit over here. And the reason why we see a lot of cave crickets on the iguana head is this white stuff you see on the rocks is not that calcite I talked about earlier. This is actually a bacteria. You can find it here, and then there's 1 or 2 sections deeper into the canyon crawl that you can find it. But that bacteria is like a food favorite of these cave crickets. And apparently they say that's where the food chain starts. But yeah, there's another solution hole up top. We tend to see some cave crickets up there, a few more up top, but all of this stuff all over the iguana head is covered in that bacteria. So, all right, and then around this corner there is a very low-hanging rock nicknamed the guillotine, and I hope to see all your heads in the next room. So please watch your head, watch your step. The path can be a little slick, so just be very careful and follow me. And this is the guillotine right here. And just be careful this time, back be a little bit.
Watch your head, hon. Temperature's dropping.
Looks like I see 4 heads. Good job. All right, this is the reflection pool. This is my favorite part of the tour. Feel free to take some photos if you'd like. I just really love the formations. I love the way they did the lights. Just a really cool spot. We'll talk about a couple things here too as well. So the first thing we'll talk about is the reflection pool itself, the further body of water there. Does anybody have any guesses on how deep that reflection pool is?
5 feet.
5 feet. Any other guesses?
15.
15 feet. Okay, I guess
6 inches.
Ah, we're getting closer. 3 inches.
Oh no.
I was almost there. I got to blow your minds. So the deal is, from my understanding, typically bodies of water that have that mirror-like image tend to be very deep, but that's obviously not the case here. So the thing about the reflection pool is this water has a ton of manganese in it, and apparently they used to put manganese in mirrors a really long time ago, okay? But this water also has a super high concentration of magnesium as well. And that's another reason why I suggest it's generally a very bad idea to attempt to lick, eat, or drink anything from a cave. If you were to drink from the reflection pool, 1 cup of this water would be like drinking 5 cups of milk of magnesia.
Oh no.
It's a potent laxative. So there's a famous story about a couple Boy Scouts that came up here and had a cave water drinking contest.
Oh no.
A lot of tour guides like to continue on at this point. I'm just going to give you fine folks that information and let you assume what happened next. But in addition to that, there are a couple other cool things about this area. There's a formation that's about to change, and whenever there's young kids on the tour, I always like to include them because they have the best chance of seeing this formation change. A fact I hadn't thrown out up until this point is the average growth rate of formations in this cave is about 1 cubic inch for 100 years. So these things grow really, really slow. And as I mentioned, there's a formation that's about to change. This is about to become a column. If you see the stalactite up top and the stalagmite on the bottom, you can see this tiny, you can even look down and see a gap in the shadow, and you can see that little tiny drip that we think would happen, right? At some point they will connect, and with all that calcite on the bottom of that stalagmite, I imagine that's going to be a pretty thick column, but again, average growth rate of formations is about 1 cubic inch for 100 years. Overnight trips, but some caves still do. You can check them out online. I'm not sure where they're at. But for a variety of reasons, they decided not to do any more overnight tours here. One of which you guys just experienced total darkness, so that's the cave's natural state, right? Second of all, if you guys see these formations, they look really dry and brittle, but they all have these really kind of sharp edges. We imagine, most likely we guess due to vandalism, that these are all broken off in the middle of the night, right? So a lot of damage would occur. And also, not sure if that Boy Scout cave water drinking contest happened on one of those overnight tours, but just the general issue of sanitation alone makes those tours very difficult because we don't have bathrooms down here, so. But yeah, so Hall of Dreams. But I'm going to point you guys, and again, just be careful not to touch any rocks, but if you see this orange light that's kind of sticking out over to our right, this is what's known as the mail slot. And the mail slot is where you enter to the 2 and 3.5 hour crawling tours.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that tour.
So there's a couple reasons why we do that. First of all, most people when they see the mail slot, they think their entire crawl is like that.
We got a camera. Isn't it pretty, Shannon?
Alright, so I want to point out a stalagmite I think has the freshest calcite you'll see on the whole tour. I call it the garden gnome. But even, it's a relative, I mean, we've had some rain lately, so there's a little bit of water in the cave today, but that drip happens even on the driest of days. That's why you get such fresh calcite. And that kind of 50-50 look of why it's kind of brown versus white is just simply because we walk by and kick up dust and make it dirty. And then this is the Salamander Speakeasy. At 5 o'clock, the lights go off. They have a party. They got a bar built into their formation. We threw in some disco lights for them, so it's a good time. On the right side, there's some jagged rocks. On the left side, there's a handrail, so watch your head, watch your step. You guys follow me, please. And again, sometimes be a little slick through here, so take your time. Alright, so this room's got a lot of stalagmites in it. This one's my favorite. I thought this was a column, but if you guys look at the top, see how it's curved? Apparently they say this one made it all the way up on its own. And I had a guy on a tour recently go, yeah, we were cheering him on. I was like, yeah man, good job, you made it. You made it all the way up. But yeah, also some really fresh calcite around the corner there. And yeah, just a lot of stalagmites in this room for some reason, so. All right, we're not done with the tour, but we are getting a little closer. And as I promised, these stairs are generally awful. They're only going to continue to get worse from this point. So just take your time, keep using those handrails, and follow me, please. So, we are actually now back in the Crystal Palace room. You guys came in over there. We talked about that column right there. This palm tree in the wind is the other side of that saber-toothed tiger. And there's the rhino with the party hat. So yeah, we are now back on that original Leo Lambert path. If you guys notice where that set of stairs kind of connected, if I let you pass the state-of-the-art technology, you would have basically come back through here. So we're back now on that original path. But a couple of things we can talk about while we're here that we haven't talked about yet is this formation is what's known as a cave chandelier. And if you look at it, it's covered in calcite, but a cave chandelier is just simply a cluster of stalactites, okay? And if you guys go look way up at the top, you'll see a really thick layer of calcite, and just above that, there's a really thin shadow. So apparently, these chandeliers are not 100% sealed, and at some point, that chandelier is going to come down. If you look right next to it, you'll see where there were previously chandeliers. And I've been told once the seal starts to give and it's getting ready to come down, it gives you like a 2-week notice. It'll start to make a low tone. Okay, I don't hear it, we're good. But essentially, yeah, it'll kind of make a sound for a couple weeks and then it'll just kind of start to drop. But proof this is a live and growing cave where those previous chandeliers were, what do we see? Soda straws. It's all starting over again, right? And also while we're here is our cave shield. So again, cave shields are super rare formations. It's my understanding there's only about 80 of these bad boys in the US total. There is a lot of debate on how these formations are actually formed. My favorite theory to tell people is I believe it was a chandelier that fell and got stuck sideways, but I don't know how valid that is, okay? If you look at the bottom of our chandelier, you'll also see some kind of thick line, or excuse me, jagged lines similar to like the Hall of Dreams. So there used to be about 1 to 3 feet hanging below what you guys see. And the story goes, a young man got a running start down these stairs and he jumped up and he slapped and he broke off that 1 to 3 feet. He did that before those laws and conservation acts were passed, so he missed out on a bunch of penalties. But it's kind of one of those weird things in life. They discuss that they think that the shield will probably fall as well. And they think when that young man broke off that extra part of the formation, he may have actually taken some stress off of it and may have actually preserved the life of the cave shield. Now, that's not a lesson for you folks to go into caves and start breaking stuff. Honestly, it's a very bad idea. It's very highly illegal. But it's just kind of one of those weird circumstances where life just kind of does something for you. But we'll go down these stairs. Just be careful. There's a little...
So, just an update with our travelers here. We made it to the Raccoon place, and today is the 30th. It's a Monday, and this is our last day here, and we gotta be gone by 11 a.m. Currently, east of us and south of us have heavy damage from Hurricane Helene. And on top of that,
There's some chemical thing that happened.
yeah, southeast of Atlanta, a really bad chemical thing happened where there's this giant chemical.
Contaminating the air, and people are being evacuated from the town.
Yeah, so we can't go south from where we are and we can't go east, but we can go west or we can go southwest. So,
And in Florida, Tallahassee's flooded too.
and Tallahassee is flooded, which would have been our main way of getting into Florida to visit friends and family. So we are gonna go southwest, and we're gonna go in the direction of New Orleans, and we're not going directly there. We're gonna try to find another spot. Hopefully, I can make some phone calls. But I found this really cool little RV place that's maybe about 5 hours from here, which is just about the longest period of time that I would want to travel in one day. About 5 hours, and it is called Sleepy Hollow, and it is in Mississippi. So, yeah, make some phone calls today and see if we can stay over there. I think the flooding and everything is probably going to die down within a week, but some of my friends sent me messages that there's another hurricane development. So regardless, America needs some time to clear streets, and the earth needs time to absorb the water that had come down. So we're not going to be able to go to Florida as soon as we thought. It's not a big deal for us. So we'll update you in a little bit. Bye.